Prasad Desai from the Department of Electrical Engineering at Bharati Vidyapith deemed to be University College of Engineering, Pune. Today we are going to conduct our online video lecture number 13, which is on Unit 6, which relates to power quality measurement guidelines. In this, we'll be discussing about various instrument setups, guidelines related to instrument setup, test locations, as well as test durations. So, power quality measurement is an important process. Power quality can be any problem manifested in the operating conditions of voltage, current, or frequency, which is going to have an impact on the operation of consumer equipments. So there are various power quality events which are going to have impact on the operation of consumer equipment as well as industrial loads. So these power quality events should be studied, should be measured for their magnitude, amplitude in short, and the impact which they pose to the equipments. Power quality events may be classified on the duration, maybe a short duration, a long duration event. They can also be classified on the impact which they pose, their causes, their effects. So it is very important to measure this power quality problems which arise. So the first step in solving power quality problems is to determine the test location or multiple locations, if any. Even the best available power quality instrumentation is only as good as the person using it. Today we have many power quality analyzers from big companies who manufacture power quality analyzers which are having exceptional features, but these features, these capabilities can't be explored until and unless the person using it is highly qualified, technically skilled, and has a good potential experience behind them. So only a good instrument, as discussed in the previous lecture, video lecture number 12, that a graphical analyzer has multiple capabilities, but these capabilities will only be harnessed, will only be explored if the person using it is skilled, is technically sound, and an experienced one. Setting up instrumentation at a location that is not optimum with respect to affected equipment can yield misleading or insufficient information. Electrical transients are especially prone to errors depending on the type of instrument used and its location. Whenever a power quality measuring device is being installed to monitor a particular parameter and adequate provisions are not taken, in that case, there is going to be a severe impact on the power quality related studies. The results which the power system engineer is going to get, they may not be correct, and the solutions which the engineer drafts from those readings may not be the optimum solution. So it's always important to set up the instrument at a proper location. So we'll continue further. Let's consider an example. That will make the point clear. Now, a large mainframe printing machine was shutting down. In a particular company, a large mainframe printing machine was shutting down randomly with no apparent cause, which was clearly indicated. Now the machine was installed in a computer data center environment and was supplied with a UPS, that is uninterrupted power source located about 10 feet from the machine. The power cord from the UPS to the printer was a 15 feet 3 conductor cable. Now, simultaneously, measurement of power quality at the printer input terminals and the UPS terminals supplying the printer revealed that while transients were present at the machine, no corresponding transients were evident at the UPS. In this case, the 15 feet of cable was sufficient to mask the transient activity. It was determined that the transients were caused by the printer itself due to its large current inrush requirement during the course of printing. The printer contained sensitive voltage detection circuitry which was causing the printer to shut down repeatedly. Now, to take care of the problem, inline filters were installed at the printer input which reduced the transient amplitudes to levels that could be lived with. In this case, if the power quality measurement instrument had been installed only at the UPS output, the cause of the problem would have gone undetected. Hence, it is very important for a power system engineer install power quality measurement instrument at proper location. If the power quality problem persists also after power quality measurement instrument being installed at a particular location, the power system engineer should be so capable that he should diagnose the problem by finding multiple test locations which may be possible. As we have discussed about test location, now let's consider a case like before that, if at all possible, power quality test should be conducted at multiple locations as I mentioned earlier. The data obtained by such means are useful in determining the nature of the power quality problem and is possible source as quickly as possible. Now we'll consider this diagram. We have mentioned 5 points here, that is four points, that is A, B, C and D. Now let's consider if simultaneous monitoring is not feasible due to cost or other factors, each location may be individually monitored. This is to be taken care of. That is to ensure similar operating environments for testing at each location to allow direct comparison of information. The number of test locations would depend on the nature of problem and the nature of the affected equipment. Now, for example, we'll consider the figure which was shown in the previous slide. If the power quality problems are observed at location C and not at location B, if the power quality problem is observed at location C and the power quality problem is not observed at location B, it is not necessary to monitor point A. It is not necessary to monitor the point A. If the power quality problem is observed at C and it is not observed at B, it is not necessary to monitor the location A. On the other hand, if problems are noticed at C and B, then location A should be tested as well as location D if necessary. So if problem persists both at location C as well as location B, then location A as well as location B if possible should be monitored. The experience of the power quality engineer becomes very important when trying to resolve the different scenarios for a large facility. With multiple transient sources and susceptible equipment, the challenge can be immense. Now, along with test location, it is also very important to discuss the test durations. As a general rule, it is necessary to test each location for at least 1 week, unless results definitely indicate power quality issues at the location that could be causing problems. In such a case, the interval can be shortened. Most power quality issues or tendencies present themselves with time frame. The actual test durations depends on the experience of power quality engineers and their comfort level for deriving conclusions based on data produced. Test durations may be shortened if different power system operation conditions that can cause power system disturbances can be created to generate an adequate amount of data for solution. It is also important to point out that using power quality tendencies to generate conclusions can be risky. This is because under certain conditions, more than one power quality problem can produce the same type of symptoms, in which case all possible scenarios should be examined. Now let's consider one more example. A solid state motor starter. In this case, a solid state motor starter was tripping during startup of the motor. Power quality measurements indicated large currents draw during the startup. The trips were thought to be due to starting currents which exceeded the setting of the startup protection. The actual cause, however, was severe under voltage conditions produced during startup. The source feeding the starter was not a rigid circuit, causing a large voltage drop during motor start. The excessive current draw was due to severe undervoltage conditions. Once the source to the adjustable speed drive was made rigid, the problems disappeared in this example. Measuring only the current input to the adjustable speed drive would have led to inaccurate conclusions. Along with test locations, test durations, instrument setup is also very important. Now, setting up instruments to collect power quality data is probably the most critical aspect of testing and also one that most often can decide the end results. The first step is making sure to observe certain safety rules. In the majority of cases, power to electrical equipment can be turned off to allow the instrument setup. The facility users want as few interruptions as possible, preferably none. Opening the covers of electrical switchboards and distribution panels requires vigilance and patience. Personal protective equipment, that is PPE, is an important component of power quality testing. Minimum personal protective equipment like making use of electrical gloves, safety glasses, and fire retardant clothing should be. While removing panel covers and setting up instrument probes, it is important to have someone else present in the room. The second person may not be trained in power quality instrument setup and testing. Further, installing power quality instruments and probes requires special care. It is preferred that voltage and current probe leads do not run in close proximity to high current cables or bus, especially if they are subjected to large current inrush. This can be inductively induced voltages in the leads of the probes and cause erroneous data to be displayed. Voltage and current lead run parallel to high current bus or cable should be avoided or minimized to reduce the possibility of noise pickup. When connecting voltage probes, the connections must be secure. Loose connections are prone to intermittent contact, which can produce false indication of power quality problems. Voltage and current probe leads should be periodically inspected. Leads with damaged insulation or those that look suspect must be promptly replaced to avoid dangerous conditions. While making current measurements, one of the main cause of errors is improper closing of jaws of the probe. Substantial errors in current measurement and phase angles can be reduced due to air gaps across the jaws of the current probes. It is important to keep test locations well guarded and secured to prevent unauthorized access. The test locations must be secured with barrier tapes or other means to warn people of hazards. If power distribution panels or switchboards are monitored, all openings created as a result of instrument setup should be sealed to prevent entry of rodents or other pests. All these steps are necessary to ensure that the test be completed without accident. So as the concern of power system engineering is increasing towards the quality of power, it is also very important to follow the guidelines related to instrument setup. A good power system engineer, an experienced power system engineer will be very beneficial when it comes to instrument setup. Each power quality measuring device, like a power quality analyzer, has multiple features. These features should be well known and accessed by the power system engineer. The power system engineer should be so capable that he can make optimum use of this power quality measurement device. We have many power quality measurement devices as compared to the conventional type of analyzers which were present in the early days. Like one individual power quality analyzer is capable of measuring various power system events like voltage sag or voltage swell, harmonics or transients or various interruptions. It is also very important to identify the test location. The power system or certain applications, electronic applications are used by the consumer at his home. These may be, as the case discussed in terms of the UPS and printer, it is always important to identify the proper test location for power quality measurement. Apart from that, it is also very important to identify the test duration. The test duration plays a very important role in power quality measurement as discussed earlier. So that's it for the presentation today. Thank you.